The following is a presentation of the ERL Ace Championship on Sparkplug Motorsports. Welcome to the first ever Ace Championship race where Casper LeBeau starts on pole from Silly and your boy. Then it's Magic for Chip Ganassi Racing starting 4th from Ryan Burton and Tommy, your top 6. Star is 7th from Nora and Cosmas Medicis. Then it's Drago in 11th from Exferno rounding out the top 11. Claire de Lune is 12th from Armand Cilia and Gab Stappen. Then it's Lam Thong, Moises Lima, I Am Turbo and Jensen Olsen, with the back 2 rows of Zanchi and Thomas Holtz and Milliam Brulez and Matthew. Well, there's not too many storylines heading into a first race of a championship, but it's great to be here as the Ace Championship gets underway. And race 1 is go in the ERL Ace Championship. Great start from Casper LeBeau off the line. Silly trying to draw level with him heading down into turn 1, who actually probably got just about as good as a start. He's up in front of the good Hunt driver, Magic, getting alongside with the pole sitter in the 5 car. But out in front, High Tech GP's number 23 of Silly still leads. Look at the run that Magic Scott in the 7 sends it down the inside into the lead, and it's a big wreck behind them. Someone's gone airborne. Ryan Burton is out of the race. I think that was one of the Manor Racing drivers involved. I think it was Nora. Looks like Claire de Lune is picked up a good amount of positions from the start. Also involved in an incident, but we've already got our first caution period of the day. Gab Stappen's moved up into the points. And for Casper right now, he's dropped from pole to 3rd. He's ERL Racing royalty as the full course cautions, and of course the son of Remy LeBeau, CLB here, driving for his dad's team in Good Heart Racing. He's trying to close up to the back of him, and we've got another caution. That is Matthew for High Tech GP. Another full course yellow. Can you believe it? I knew we were going to get some yellows today. It's an entirely new lineup of drivers, but didn't think we were going to get this many. Magic leads, and the number 7 Chip Ganassi machine. Oh! What is going down at the hairpin? Now both Furniture Road drivers have got time penalties, and that's because Lam Thong's just absolutely gone into the back of the number 20 of I Am Turbo. We're back under the green flags here in Beijing, China. Looking at that number 13 car. Unlucky for some, lucky for others, as he tries to hold it down the inside, side by side, and in front of I Am Turbo. Magic is punched in the fastest opening sector of anybody side by side between these two. Still, hopefully we don't see the opening lap collision again. Ahmed Cilia there with a very bad line going through there. Zanchi with a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision as his teammate leads this race. And he leads it by almost 2 seconds at this point, but we're still riding on board with car number 8 in 17th position now in front of I Am Turbo in the 20 car. And Casper LeBeau closing up to the back of Silly. We've got attack mode online. All of these drivers in the technically outdated ERL 01s. but that does mean that pretty much every driver in the ERL should have run this car at one point in their careers, because unless you retired in season 22 in Formula E, then you would have driven this. Because a lot of the rookies in modern times have actually gone back to either Champ Car, IndyCar, and in fact for Tommy, Cosmas, they're both on the grid today. Tommy's the only one who's actually driven in every ERL category. As your boy in the 18 gets side by side with Drago for Power Motorsport. Here comes car number 3. Gonna make the lunge on Tommy, is he? No, he's gonna try and hold on to P5, and he does. A lot of these names quite foreign to me, because, of course, brand new grid. And for High Tech and for Goodhart, I think the game plan for these guys is to extend and try and go for the overcut on Magic. I think the overcut might work around here, especially if there's a full course caution, which we've already had 2 of today. And with the tyres beginning to wear a lot more already, it only gets likelier and likelier with these rookie drivers. Million Brulers in the number 12 car, making up the very back of the pack. The gap out in front was about 2 seconds as they come through the hairpin. Casper needs a good run here. Contact. Oh, into the wall almost for Tommy. How much skill was required to keep that one out of the barriers? He's first into the pits. Following him in is your boy, as his teammate I Am Turbo drops to the very back of the pack after causing a collision with Zanchi, I believe, who's also into the pits. Million Brulers, he's really just stepped on it right now. He's moved up into 13th, including drivers who have just come into the pits. Silly's got a good run on Magic here. Casper's going to have to try and defend his 3rd position from Drago right behind him in that 3 car. Magic leads the way for Chip Ganassi Racing, and he is building that gap back up between him and Silly, but Silly is going to get attack mode heading down that long back straight. There are 2 attack mode activation points, the main straight and the long back straight, both of them quite close together. And Casper, I think he's done enough to make sure that he can hold off Drago behind him. Attack mode for Silly, but barely within that attack mode striking distance. Can't really make the launch, but he can gain time, but he just about hasn't done so. And look at that, that is the High Tech in front. As you can see, I think that's yeah, that is Drago, who's weaving like a madman there. Jensen Olsen, 10-second time penalty, causing a collision. That is with Million Brulers, I believe, who now comes into the pits. We've got a vast majority of drivers coming into the pits. Casper LeBeau leads in the 5 car from Cosmas Pedicis and Lam Fong. His last name straight out like some, I don't know, Hall of Fame drivers, honestly. And now for Lam Fong in that 13 car. He's going to have to defend from Ahmed Cilia right now. And for the guys who are yet to pit, that's it. Everyone in the top 6. They are hoping for a full course caution. They need a full course caution for their strategy to work out effectively. Right now, Tommy leads the drivers who are yet to, who have made their first stops, and he leads Magic by a handful of laps. So the overcut definitely not seeming like it's going to be the winning strategy today, unless it means that you can do one less pit stop, and that way you can gain track position. Those hard tyres on Jensen Olsen's car, not suggesting that the 1-stop is going to work out. I feel like this race is going to become a 2-stop event. For a lot of these drivers, that is the exact opposite of what they want to hear. Looking back with the number 12 Revolution car. And Brulers definitely hoping for some better luck in qualifying. The top 2 both into the pits. I think Lam Fong is staying out. The 13 stays out, but no full course caution has come out for the guys who have come into the pits. Soft tyres going on for Casper. He's going to have to try and punch in some quick lap times right now, because he's going to re-emerge in this race outside of the top 10. And now Goodhart Racing. They need to bring this one back on strategy, because the driver with any experience at all, Ryan Burton, who's run a handful of races in Champ Car driving with Apex GP, he's out of this. A lot of these drivers complete rookies to the ERL as well, but none of them lead this race right now. Well, not yet. Here comes Magic, lunging down the inside. That's not exactly where most drivers would think of making the overtake, but for Magic, he thinks it was going to work. Lam Fong, however, stays alongside, but loses out going down the straight. He's got attack mode. He was using attack charge. Tommy is coming at the Vietnamese number 13 for Furniture Row Racing. Here comes the Revolution 11. Tommy down the inside and into second position, but I think Lam Fong's going to have to come into the pits quite quickly. He's run the longest stint of any driver, 6 laps on the hard compound tyre, which does mean that this race kind of has to be a 2-stop event. It's beginning to become a little bit overcast here. I'm sorry, Jensen Olsen's just done 7 laps. Just started his 7th lap, rather, on his hard tyre, so he's doing the longest stint. Technically, that does make the 1-stop possible, but definitely not probable. Here's Moises Lima in the number 2 Hyperdrive BBX car. Hyperdrive Racing now racing in every stage of the ERL. That's Formula E, Ace, and Champ Car. The only other team that you can say that about is Power Motorsport. And of course, both of these teams with partnerships, not just with those affiliated teams in higher ERL series, but also with ERL drivers as well. Here comes Nora in the 15. That's close to the wall. They're going 3 wide through the snail. You never see this. 3 wide. 5-way fight for the position as well. Headed by this man Drago, who with attack mode moves up into 5th. Could try and get your boy. It's really dark out here. The clouds really falling above this track, and it's raining. We've got rain. You've got to pit immediately, it seems. Who's going to come in out of these entire guys? In comes Magic, Silly, Tommy, everyone into the pits, it seems, so no one going to get the benefit. That helps us Olsen. I'm sorry, that helps Jensen Olsen, because he's yet to make a stop, but had to hit the brakes immediately. And, oh, staying out, Zanchi. That's a 1-2 for Chip Ganassi on the road, but that's not ever going to work. Never in 1,000 years. With 6 laps to go, can you think, yeah, sticking it out on these tyres, yeah, that's going to work. That just won't and can't. Casper LeBeau's come out of the pits in 10th. And for Racing Royalty, doesn't look like he's going to take home the first ERL Ace Championship win. I don't think Zanchi's going to be able to defend Silly, who's right behind him. I don't think that's possible. It just seems a little unlikely that you can hold off a driver with better tyres that are suited to the condition, and you can see Zanchi in the 8 car lets the 23 of Silly go by. Looking back, and honestly, that is no way. There is no way that he's going to be able to stay in the top 10 if he tries to finish this race with the hards. He's a moving chicane. He's dropped to 5th. Maybe he just wanted to be featured on the broadcast again. I don't know. And, oh, we've got yellows. Where is that? That is Gab Stappen. Lam Fong's just gone into the back of Gab Stappen, who's got a front puncture. And for the Brazilian hyperdrive driver, that almost gave us our 3rd full course caution with 5 to go. Thankfully, however, hasn't happened. But, you know, this is always awful to see, because it does just mean a driver's hopes of scoring points, and especially for a rookie driving for an established team in the ERL as a whole. He's going to pit, and that's effectively race over. He might be a lap down. There's always that possibility of rain clearing up, and a lot of these teams definitely going to be hoping for the rain to clear up, but Verstappen doesn't and probably will not ever help him out. Coming out of the pits is Verstappen. Zanchi, if you'll remember, he didn't come in when the rain first started falling. And he's dropped down to 18th position, likely because of that. Honestly, not at all surprised. 4 to go from China, and you can see we still got them fighting for position. You can see Casper LeBeau at the very back of this fight for points, the back of the fight for 5th. Jensen Olsen's just punched in the fastest lap in 16th position. Exferno looking at Nora, who makes a lunge in that 15 car for Mana Motorsport. Doesn't quite clear Claire de Lune in that number 10 car for Junior Motorsports. And he got a pretty good run out of that sequence of corners. That's kept him with Drago, but has he dropped Nora behind? Not quite. Still filling up those wing mirrors, and in fact, you've basically got a train of cars from 5th down to about 16th. I'd probably say 15th, so that's 10 cars fighting for 5 points paying positions, really, and that's not going to end well. I think that's Ahmed Celia going for the lunge. He's gaining position at a rate of knots. He moves up into 9th if he can stop the car in time. He does. Goes off the track, but luckily Casper doesn't hit the wall. In fact, he reclaims that 9th position. We've got 3 to go. And look at that from Moises Lima. Got a pretty good exit. Here comes Casper up into 8th. This is the guy who started on pole. His team gambled on the strategy and it just didn't go well. And now under these wet conditions, he's left to try and just fight back through the field. That's Nora once again going for the lunge on Claire de Lune. This time though, works out. He's marginally more ahead than he was before. So now Claire on the outside. Comes the inside for this turn, but he has to slot right behind, and being not just the dirty air, but also the spray of the Mana Motorsport car in front of him. Look at that from Ahmed Celia. Going for the lunge. How late does he want to brake? That's very late. Casper LeBeau's been given a 5-second time penalty for track limits, but for Ahmed Celia, he's now alongside and marginally in front of the Team Impul driver of Exferno, who gets the position back. Silly and Tommy fighting over 2nd position, but these guys far away, and out of the race goes Tommy. Full course caution on lap 12 of 14. Absolutely aquaplaned. There is no other way of saying that. He aquaplaned into the pit lane barriers. We've seen this before in the ERL. You can go back to race 1 in Formula E. Back in season 1, you'll see Elijah Houghton hitting the wall. Effectively being forced into it though, but it was in similar conditions. Honestly, that was a slightly forced error for the Revolution Racing man, and he's one of the most experienced drivers on the grid. Debuted in Formula E in season 14, ran a few seasons there, then went to Indy Cars, ran 4 seasons there, didn't continue to Champ Car, but came over to the Ace Championship alongside Cosmas Rodicis. These 2 drivers coming over just to show these guys the ropes effectively. Gab Stappen rather, so far down the order that he hasn't actually gotten past Tommy yet. That's how much that puncture has impacted his race. Silly is now on an island in P2. So is your boy. The top 3 are not really fighting for position here. They need some sort of extraordinary circumstance to level those guys out, and I don't think that's quite going to happen. I think Magic has got this in the bag. We're on to the penultimate lap from China. Magic leads for NTT Data Chip Ganassi Racing. We're on board with the number 2 Hyperdrive BBX of Moises Lima. He's currently running in the points, which is something for that highly experienced team in the ERL. And look at this from Ahmed Cilia on the back of Exferno, closing up to the Impul driver rather. What can he do heading into this hairpin? He's too far back to make the lunge, and so doesn't. That's a smart move. Don't really want to go 2x2 like the guys behind if you're not already 2x2. Look at that from Moises Lima. Drops to 11th position as Star moves up into 10th in that number 9 Junior Motorsports car. On board we go with Milian Brules. He qualified on the back row, but has the prospect of scoring points today. But he does need to make a lot of moves to get himself up there. Moves that might not come due to these conditions. You know, it's very easy to stay side by side with a driver around this track, but to make the pass as we go on to the final lap is a different thing entirely. Some would say it's impossible to pass another driver past lap 1 on this track and hold on to it for the entire race. And honestly, I do not blame them. And Magic, what a way to come into the ERL. Joining the Ace Championship, a league mainly comprised of rookies. You've still got some drivers who are running their second season in the ERL like your boy, and some drivers who are running what might even be their 10th season in the ERL in someone like Tommy. But still, somehow Magic leads the entire pack. It's been quite the easy race. The element's definitely helping him out quite a bit. And he's heading down the back straight. Exferno trying to take 8th away from Ahmed Cilia for Mana Motorsport, but for the race leader in Magic, he's got 2 turns to go before he can say he is the first to win a race in the ERL Ace Championship. Magic wins in the Ace Championship race here in Beijing. Honestly, what a race from that guy. Made it look so easy. He wins by 6 seconds over Silly. Which is quite the silly name, but you know what? We're going to let it pass. He should probably sue his parents. As the rest of the drivers now coming to the line, it is actually drying up on this final lap. So late, though, that none of these guys actually really contemplated going on to the slicks, though. Fastest second sector's just gone to Gab Stappen, who got very close to the wall in that number 1 car. Wonder if he'll be able to set the fastest lap. In any other race, it would probably be time for Attack Mode to get back online, but obviously not. Coming into the final turn. And has he put in the fastest lap of the race? I think he might have. Gab Stappen did take the fastest lap of the race on that final lap. But here's your podium after the first ever Ace Championship race. Magic taking victory for Chip Ganassi Racing from Silly and your boy. And for Magic, I'm sure there's a lot more in store for his career in the ERL. As for the rest of your finishers, and Drago was 4th from Nora and Claire DeLune. Then it's Ahmed Cilias, Exferno, Moises Lima, and Cosmas Redices the top 10. Outside of it, you've got Star Casper LeBeau after his time penalty was applied. Milian Brules, Thomas Holtz, Jensen Olsen, I Am Turbo, Zanchi, Lam Fong, and Gab Stappen, with the non-finishers being Tommy Matthew and Ryan Burton. The driver standings are pretty much, if not absolutely, the exact same as the finishing order after today's race. So in the constructors' standings, heading into the second round of 10 in the Ace Championship, that being the Queensland race, Chip Ganassi Racing lead the way from High-Tech GP and Manor Motorsport. Let me see if I can even get words out correctly. Then it's Campos Meta, Power Motorsport, Junior Motorsport, Team Impul, and Hyperdrive BBX with Good Heart Racing, Revolution Racing, and Furniture Row Racing not scoring points after the first race in the ACE Championship. Well, as first races go, this was nowhere near as hectic as the first IndyCar race or the first Champ Car race. The first Formula E race was run at a much longer distance, so of course there was a lot more time for things to happen. But in terms of where this ranks, this shows new drivers to the ERL. They know what they're doing. We will see you guys next time then when the ERL returns.
Sparkplug Motorsports thanks you for watching this presentation of the Electric Racing League.